What's the grossest thing you've ever seen someone bring to a potluck? My grandmother-in-law. Everything she brings. The first time was stale cake in a bowl of syrup. It was both cake and soup, while also being neither. She has meat in her deep freezer older than some of her grandchildren. She's a Depression-era cook, so expiration dates don't apply to medicine, cupboards, or freezers. Once she tried to give my daughter, 2 years old at the time, cough medicine that expired 9 years before she was even born. We had a potluck today and someone brought some Doritos. People started eating them and complaining that they tasted like dirt. We looked at the bag and it had a promo for Mockingjay Part 1. The chips expired in 2014. This was a mixed department potluck and we haven't found the person that brought the 9-year-old chips. She opened a can of tiny shrimp and poured it out, liquid and all, on top of a block of cream cheese. That was it. I guess we were supposed to eat it with crackers. Someone brought deviled eggs, and instead of sprinkling paprika on them, they used cinnamon. A Korean-American coworker brought homemade kimchi, but she admittedly didn't know how to make it and just winged it. It was fermented wrong and was covered in mold, which she didn't seem to understand was bad. The vegetables were basically half liquefied and it smelled like dumpster juice. The thing is, half of the chefs at work had learned to make kimchi correctly and safely since various different kimchis used to be on the menu before she was hired. So we all instantly knew it was wrong and unsafe, but no one wanted to tell her. Homemade fried chicken. Which translated to chicken that I covered in pancake batter and breadcrumbs and dropped into a fry pan until the outside looked cooked. It wasn't even seasoned. Grandma's Jell-O salad, made with cottage cheese and celery. Edit, I love how half the answers are OMG, that's disgusting, and the other half are yeah, I remember that monstrosity. I know the neighbor's cat pees on everything. I pet sat for them. I saw that critter pee on the patio next to the grill. Went over for dinner. Chicken asada on the grill. Small piece of chicken went astray right on the patio next to the grill. Neighbor put it right back on the grill. I brought salad. That's all I ate. My sister would bring 2 crock pots. One with spaghetti sauce, the other with water and the noodles. The noodles would be cooking in the water all day. My cousin's wife wanted to make pimento cheese sandwiches for a Super Bowl party. Problem is she had no idea what went into pimento cheese and refused to go to the store because it couldn't be that hard. So she mixed a bag of shredded cheese, an ungodly amount of mayonnaise, and for the little red bits? Maraschino cherry house face vomiting, then dumped approximately a half cup of garlic salt in for good measure. I thought they were a dessert because they were pink and couldn't figure out what a pink sandwich would be. It was truly one of the worst things I've ever put in my mouth. Potato salad, with multiple hairs from his head, I hope. I just know they were human hairs, and they were tight and curly. Lime jello, with Vienna weenies and cherry tomatoes in it. A custard pie that wasn't made well, so it tasted like cold eggs. It was like chewing farts. Nauseated face. I love telling this story. I worked at a patient care clinic with mostly nurses. One nurse brings mashed potatoes inside of a Walmart bag. Not inside of a bowl, inside of a Walmart bag. Mashed potatoes. Loose. Inside of a Walmart bag. That could have previously held raw chicken or some other gross thing. A nurse. I ended up posting about it on Facebook later, after having forgot we were FB friends. Oops. A half-eaten chicken something dinner from their meal at Olive Garden the previous night. Half of a pie. Not half of a pie that was sold that way by the bakery. A leftover half-eaten pie. Had a friend show up with his wife's specialty. It was deviled ham and cheese was scooped onto a Ritz. They were also made some time ahead because the crackers were no longer crisp. To make it worse, he walked around with them and his wife telling everyone to try them. That was the night I learned that it will be okay to strategically lie about having food allergies. It was Halloween party and they brought a jack-o'-lantern shaped meatloaf thing. It was just unseasoned ground beef. I'll fall on that sword. I brought shepherd's pie to a Christmas party and thought it festive to color the mashed potatoes green. This one requires some setup because the dish is actually very popular at family gatherings. My dad was well known for his cakes. Small variety of different ones. Nothing fancy, just good cake. He made one and iced it to serve later that day at a family potluck. The dog comes along and can barely get his tongue over the edge of the pan and gets about 1/3 of the icing off the top. Dad had leftover icing. So the moral of the story, eat from the same side of the dish that my dad serves himself from. Not really a potluck, but a person I used to work with would bring baked goods to quarterly meetings she conducted. Sometimes we'd go in as a team and sometimes we'd go 1:1. Everyone would rave about her baked goods, but all I could taste was mothballs. She lived in an old house. I think she had mothballs in her cupboards to keep mice away. It happened the first time, I thought I was imagining it. The second time I tasted it again. Mothballs are poisonous, so I had to discreetly spit it out. In later years, I had to politely decline her baked goods. Mushroom and wild rice full of dog hair. Not a strand or two, but full of dog hair. Turns out she ran a sanctuary or something face vomiting. Church social. Chicken wings baked so dry they looked like mummified body parts. My husband and I went to a potluck at a park shelter one time. Someone had brought vegetables and dip. I was reaching for some when my husband nudged me and told me to look closely. There were bugs all in the vegetables. I don't think they were from being outside because none of the other food had bugs. I think whoever brought the platter either didn't notice the vegetables were full of bugs, or didn't care. I once made a brain dip for a work afternoon tea on Halloween. It was a homemade onion and herb dip with paprika that made it pink and used a large brain mold. It looked quite realistic. Very few ate it because it looked too real. Does Thanksgiving count? One year our small apartment complex came together for potluck dinner. A couple people had relatives, including someone's older aunt. For dessert, one of the neighbors made a lime jello mold but used wheat-infused vodka. He was very clear about it to everyone. Some ate it, some didn't. The older aunt knowingly had some. Ah hell, why not? She declared. That old auntie was the most engaging and entertaining person for like 20 minutes. Absolutely hilarious, owning the room with stories, and just loving life. Then she quickly snuck into a bedroom and immediately crashed out. To this day, if she's still alive, I wonder if she considered that jello good or horrible. Chocolate chip cookies, but she didn't really mix the ingredients very well. So there were lumps of flour and baking soda, or powder. They were god-awful. Second worst was a macaroni salad that had some kind of white fish in it. Cold pasta salad seasoned with cat hair. Hot dogs in a crock pot. You haven't lived until you've had a melt in your mouth hot dog.